What's personal development? Well, personal development is a very big subject. It can be, quite frankly, an enormous topic. So, what I would like to do is just to share with you 5 thoughts that I have that I think are really important when it comes to this topic of personal development. Firstly, my strong belief is that we were born for personal development. I honestly think that we were put on this earth not only to grow physically, but to grow our knowledge and our skills and our insights, to grow in the area of making good judgments, good critical judgments, to grow in terms of how we relate to others in our relationships with others, to grow in terms of our experience and our expertise, and quite possibly also to grow in other areas, such as our emotional and psychological well-being and our spiritual growth. So the first thing I'd like to share is that personal development, I believe, is why we are all here on planet Earth and what we were born to achieve. It's really a core issue for us all. Secondly, I want to talk about the responsibility for personal development. You see, personal development is a choice. We can either choose to own it for ourselves and be responsible for it and accountable for it, or we can choose to make somebody else responsible or accountable for it. I remember in my early days in my career, going back to my early 20s, I honestly thought, and maybe it was part of the area in which I was working, that my employer was responsible for my personal development, my career development, and for my overall well-being all the way through to retirement. I changed that thought quite radically as a result of meeting with some different people who convinced me that actually it was my primary responsibility, it was my career and my future to manage, and I could not look to others or other organizations to do it for me. Thank goodness I took on board that advice and made personal development a very big value for myself and an area in which I clearly accepted I needed to be responsible and I needed to invest time, energy, and effort. The third thing I want to share with you is that personal development is a journey. It's a journey in which we plan certain activities and events, and we plan to do certain things over certain time frames. And some of those plans come to fruition, and some of them turn out to be really good personal development opportunities from which we learn and from which we grow a lot. There are others, notwithstanding that we've planned them carefully, perhaps teach us very little about ourselves or others or our situation. However, in a journey, things happen to us which are unforeseen, they're unexpected. And that is the case in personal development. There are some things in my personal development journey that have happened to me quite out of the blue, which actually I didn't welcome at the time, but which had a major impact on my future journey. I remember, for example, going back, I was due to take up a job in another country, and I was involved in a car accident, and I was out of work for 2 months at the time that the move was being planned. And during this 2 months, I reflected on this move and decided, no, this is something I actually did not want to do, and explored other possibilities. And as a result, changed direction completely and went in a very different journey in terms of my personal growth and development, one which has proven to be incredibly good for me and for others around me. So I love the word serendipity, serendipitous. Be prepared for the unaccepted, but be prepared for that to be good for you. At the same time, do make your own personal development plans. The next thing I wanted to share with you is that Personal development, and I alluded to this earlier on, is holistic. It isn't all about becoming the very, very best you can be in a given area of skill, such as a sports person, for example, who rise to the top in their particular sport, becoming the absolute best there is in the world. Personal development for most of us is, yes, investing in our talents and our unique gifts and abilities and exploiting those or growing them or causing them to blossom in the future. Of course, it's all about those incredibly important parts of our lives which we're naturally able to do well, but it's also about addressing those areas which we're not so good at, the areas which require energy and effort, the areas in which we sometimes struggle, the areas where we have weaknesses, where we have challenges, where we have temptations, where it isn't that straightforward. And personal development is all about planning those things which we enjoy, but planning to tackle those things which, frankly, we know we need to do. We may not get a lot of pleasure from those things, but we need to grow and develop in those areas to become a holistic, rounded person, which is what I believe we need to be, not only for the good of ourselves, but for the good of all those around us. Finally, I wanted to briefly talk to the multifaceted aspects around personal development. There are so many contributors and so many ingredients to successful personal development. Now, that may be our upbringing, in which our parents made a big impact. It may be our teachers at school. It may be those people in college or university in our further education. It may be our employers over the years. It may be the clubs, societies, the movements we join, the people that we meet informally, the books that we read, the videos that we watch, the courses that we attend, the qualifications we achieve. Multifaceted is personal development. And I would only say use all of these as potential learning opportunities to become the best we can be until the day we die. So there we are, 5 points, which I hope will be really, really helpful to you. Look at the link below in the description. Click on the link and you'll find out more about this incredibly fascinating but important topic for us all.